Hi, so this YouTube, sponsored by Guinness and the Charles Dickens pub in Woodstock, is about this lovely little radio here, which is the Retevis RT52. I had some challenges getting the user database into the radio so that it would display the actual details of the contacts we're talking to, rather than just a number like 235612. So it's currently 16th of February 2019. I've had the radio a few weeks through the Chinese New Year, and there's really not too much support out there for it. So I thought I'd share this information on how to get the user database into it, because it wasn't very apparent to me, and I'm a reasonable user, and I've certainly programmed code plugs for other radios, no problem. So there we are. The actual radio from the internet, I can work out, is capable of having 100,000 contacts, but when you read the blog on Retevis website from the engineer, they actually say that it's only 95,000. So the process I followed was downloading the database from I think it was DMARC website. It comes in as a CSV file of 121,000 at the moment, which is clearly more than the 95,000 the radio can handle. So I used Microsoft Access to run a few queries to whittle that down, but you can use whatever method you want. And the name of the game is to produce a CSV file that the radio can read. Now that in itself is not too straightforward, because the field names that the Retevis radio needs do not match the field names that come from the DMARC database. So I will show you the details of what I did right now. This is just a very brief video. I originally made a video and it was like 40 minutes long with every step of the way what you need to do. So have a look at this video, and if you don't like it, look at the other one, which I will call I don't know, full video of the DMR contacts Retevis RT52. It'll be quite apparent anyway if you just look at my channel. Alright, so here we go. So on the internet, we go here to dmr-mark.net, and we click on this database link. Now this database link actually just takes us here, so I guess you could just go straight to this one. It's radioid.net, and on this website you click on the database link here at the top of the page. Ignore all these windows in the middle. You want to go to this link that says database dump files, okay, and then over here users.csv. I had a few attempts at this, writing the file to the radio, and they're really unsuccessful. I was convinced it was to do with the way they encoded the CSV file. So there's another little step at the end I will show you. Okay, so you click on that and it downloads. Let's get rid of this window. It downloads this spreadsheet here with all of these contact information. So you'll notice I've put the two lines in here just to keep it simple. So from the DMR-MARC database that we just looked at, all of this information comes down, and these are the field names. Okay, and there's all of your call signs. What you have to do is change these field names at the top to these field names here, which are what the Retevis radio expects. How I found this out was by actually using the Retevis software here, going to program DMR database, and this window pops up, and reading the contacts list. Well, I won't do it now because I've got like 1,000,001 contacts in there, but if you were to read that, it will come up with one entry and it will have these names at the top. Sorry, it will come up with the one entry. So you read and write from the radio with these two buttons, and you import and export the CSV file to your computer with these buttons. So you're going to read from the radio, export it, save it, I don't know, on your desktop. Okay, then you have a look at that that file, and it looks like this. Okay, and what you will see on your Retevis one is these remarks here. So these remarks, these field names here. So remember, the top line is what you get from the DMR database. Now what I recommend you do is you literally go right down to the bottom of this and you copy it. Well, what do I recommend you do? You've got to end up with them all in this same order. I did it a different way. I did it with an Access database. But basically you've got to get these fields in the correct Retevis field here. Maybe you could do it 2 stages. It's up to you how you do it, but you've got to end up with the fields in this order with the correct information underneath. Now I also noticed after I'd done this that a lot of my English call signs were not being displayed, and it puzzled me as to why. The reason is in this column here it has to have the word DMR. So for example this one, if 1023007 was up on my screen, it won't display, it would just say 1023007 because there's not DMR there. So you want to select the whole lot there and make every single cell DMR, just like most of them are. Otherwise they just won't display. So that's it. You shuffle them about like that. You make sure that your output spreadsheet looks like, has these same field names in that order with the data underneath it. Right, I forgot to mention this little stage in the process thus far. The Retevis contacts has these 2 additional fields called call type and call alert. So you need to create 2 columns for these, and in every cell put a 1 in the call type and put a 0 in the call alert. I don't know exactly what that pertains to, but if you put that in every cell you'll be good. And remember, the empty cells here you've got to fill with DMR. These CCS7s you've got to change to DMR, so every cell in this column should have DMR against it, otherwise the contact will not show. For example, this one here, 1023007 will display on your screen instead of Hans-Jürgen. Oh, I had to choose that one, didn't I? Buckholt, Cornwall, Ontario. So that's it. Yeah, add these 2. This order is the same order that your final CSV file should be before you write it back into, or you import it into that window and then subsequently write it to the radio. How you achieve the rest of this is up to you. If you want to know how I did it, watch the full video, which is about 40 minutes long. That's it. Back to the video. And you do File, Save As, and you pull down this here and you select CSV, this one here. There's a number of CSVs in this list. For example, with a few below that says CSV Macintosh. That's no good to you. You want this one. Now I'm using Office 365 as of February 2019. So you might not have all of these options, but for sure you'll have some of them. Select the one that's just a plain CSV. Okay, so you save that off to your desktop, call it whatever you want, contacts for Retevis, and then you go back into your Retevis software here, and you do import, and you browse for your contacts, whatever it is. In my case it was like this. You open it, there they all are. If you don't have them there, then they're not going to go into the radio. So yeah, you import them. So that's importing it from your desktop to this little window, and then you click on write, and it takes probably a good 10 minutes to write them into your radio. And at that point you're done. Always remember to back up your Codeplug, although that's nothing to do with the contacts that are in this. That's not actually in your Codeplug saving. Your Codeplug saving is these settings. These are just written into the radio, and that's it. They're not backed up on your computer. So that's it. That's the brief one. If you want the full kind of 40-minute version, step by step, follow my other YouTube, as I say. All right. Thanks very much. Good night.